Hi folks, Dr. Bob McCauley. Is meat really unhealthy? Really dangerous? Well, I happen to think it is, and I'm going to give you the reason, and I 100% guarantee you've never heard it before. Well, as we all know, eating meat is really bad for you, and that's why everyone does it. Right? Of course, Actually, you go to your doctor, or, you start getting older and you got a heart condition, and then people start telling you to limit the amount of red meat that you put into your diet, as if it's the red meat that's really bad. I do, poultry, that's like a lot, healthier or something. Okay, if you say so. No. I've been a vegetarian for many years, 37 years actually, and let me tell you something. 37 years ago, you'd say I'm a vegetarian. People would think, what are you, crazy? Literally, it was like no vegetarians around. And, people would always ask me, it was the funniest thing. They'd say, do you eat meat? No. Do you eat chicken? No. And chickens might think that's actually meat, and so there's always this argument about what meat is good and what meat is not good and all this kind of stuff. You know what? It's all bad for you. And so is meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. It's cooked animal protein, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why today. So I've made the point several times in the past that it's okay to eat animal protein, meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. Okay, that's the world of animal protein. I'd say it'd be okay if it was raw meat, raw fish, raw eggs, raw dairy. Well, of course, we don't eat any of our animals raw now, do we? Well, they got to be cooked. So you kill an animal and you cook it. This is when it becomes really dangerous. So, we can talk about ethical reasons why you shouldn't kill an animal. Okay, I want to talk physiology. That's all I care about, physiology. The closest we come to eating animal protein would be maybe eating sushi, okay? Eggnog, steak tartare. Okay, that's raw meat. Let me tell you something. I saw somebody eat a whole big thing of raw meat, and it was in a very expensive restaurant. I thought I was going to get sick, but that's beside the point. We just don't eat. Those are the only times we ever eat, raw animal protein of any kind, meat, fish, eggs, or dairy, is like in sushi. So why shouldn't we eat it? Well, the reason it becomes dangerous when you cook it is very simple. Amino acids come together to form protein chains, and that's what goes on in the body. And protein chains, tens of thousands of different types of protein chains, serve functions all over the human body. But you need the amino acids, these little building blocks, to make the protein. So protein doesn't just come out of a plant and it's all ready to go into a protein chain. It's just sitting there as an amino acid. And then what happens is these little peptide bonds, they come and they hold these amino acids together, and then you get these long complex chains of amino acids. Well, when you eat an animal, those amino acids are already been formed into protein chains. So you need to take those protein chains and break them down into individual amino acids and then reform them into human proteins. That's the way it works. You don't actually just take a protein chain from a dog or say a cow or from a chicken, and then your body just takes it and plugs it in, this big long chain, and just, okay, I'll start using that. That's not how it works. How it works is it needs to break it down. So it's very labor intensive. It uses a lot of energy in the body. But here's the biggest problem, is the fact that you have taken these long complex protein chains that are held together by these very fragile peptide bonds, and you expose it to heat, and especially when you expose it to really high heat, like when you're barbecuing it, okay, and you put it right on the flame. Okay, what happens is you totally destroy the peptide bonds, and you just make a mess out of this protein chain. So what was formed together, and could, if you were to eat it raw, you would just take those all those amino acids, the protein chain, break them apart and reuse them. At the turn of the 20th century, so around the early 1900s, they had something called the raw milk cure. And what was going on there, they would just tell you, hey, if you want to cure your body of anything, just go out and get raw milk. It has to be raw. and just drink it down. Well, what was happening? You're giving yourself a lot of enzymes. It was a nice, good, fresh product. Of course, it wasn't adulterated. This is, turn of the 20th century here, 1900 or so. So we hadn't gotten into all this pasteurization and factory farming and all this kind of stuff. So if you could go to a farm and get that milk right off of there, yeah, it's pretty good for you. I don't have a big problem with that. There's really nothing in the animal world that we can't get from the plant world, nutritionally speaking. There's just nothing out there. I hear people are really stretching, you need to get this one ingredient from this animal, or you just are missing some key nutrient. It's just nonsense. Everything that we need, we can get right out of the plant world. But when you take these protein chains and you expose them to the high heat and you make a mess out of them, and then you consume it, this becomes very dangerous for our health. So that's what makes meat so dangerous. And the idea that red meat is so much more dangerous than chicken, that's nonsense. They're both really bad for you, because really what you're doing is you're cooking a protein chain and you're destroying it. You're turning it into a bunch of mush. That's the thing to remember about it. And if you want to look at chicken, a lot of ways chicken's worse than beef. It's got a huge amount of methionine in it. Okay, methionine is a sulfur-based amino acid, and that's why, like when you eat a lot of eggs, you begin to smell like sulfur, because you're eating so much methionine. So there's a lot of reasons why chicken might even be worse for you than beef or even pork. So the whole point is, well, as I always come back to, where I'm coming with. We're going to go with this one, folks. If you want great protein, okay, there's a lot found in the plant world. Okay, there's hemp protein, there's pea protein. They've been selling that a lot, but usually you have to extract those, and to get enough of them. And I don't have anything against those things, but the two greatest foods in the world with the most amount of protein, and it's where I really get almost all my protein, is Spirulina and Chlorella, two types of algae. There's 60% protein. They've got 20 different amino acids that are in the right ratio to one another. That's when you find with animal protein, you find it very high in certain amino acids and very low in others. And you don't see the complete complement of amino acids. You do see the essential amino acids. So when we're talking essential, we're talking about, what is required to be consumed from the outside. What do we need to do to consume that? Central nutrients mean we need to consume them from the outside. Our body can't create them. So there's a whole bunch of eight amino acids we can't create in our bodies. The rest of them we can create. Okay, our bodies can create those, just like our bodies can create a lot of B vitamins. Those aren't essential vitamins. A lot of people think you need to eat all this stuff from the animal world to get your vitamin B. Nonsense, more nonsense. I just had my blood work done a couple months ago. My B12 was nice and high, and my B6 was off the charts. Gee, I wonder how that happened. It happened because I eat the right foods. I live on a diet primarily of raw fruits and vegetables, almost exclusively, and I am a vegan, and I use Spirulina and Chlorella for my protein, and I stay away from animal protein. Okay, that's why my B is so high, and that's where I'm getting most of my B vitamins. And not to mention I use probiotics to make B vitamins. But anyway, this is the main reason why you see meat is so bad we cook it. And so, yet another reason to turn to the most powerful foods in the world, Spirulina and Chlorella. Yeah. I hope you liked this video, and if you did like this video, make sure you click and like, and you subscribe to me. And if you want to get notifications, just go in there and make sure you click that little notification. And we'll see you guys next time.